Welcome to The Spark, igniting your passion to live your life
Cheers.
purpose.
Got a fancy tea. All right.
I
Well,
do.
good morning.
This is in honor of St. Patrick's Day. It's green.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Well, welcome to The Spark, everyone, igniting your passion to live your life purpose. I am your hostess and actuator, Dr. Jan Kaplan. Today, I have with me an amazing woman who is living her life purpose. Her name is Marva Ferguson, and she is the creator. Would you call yourself the creator of the peak culture?
That's a good word, yes. Yeah, I like that.
All right. Awesome. So as I said, Marva is living her life purpose, and that's what the Spark is all about, is helping everyone live their life purpose. So Marva, first question, and maybe even the toughest question, or for some it might be a tough question.
So we're going to just jump off the deep end, are we?
We're just jumping right in, yeah. So what do you consider your life purpose?
Well, I'm an illuminator, Jan, and what I do is illuminate anything that brings light to a dark situation. So whatever that is, that's what I am. And it's taken me my whole life to figure out what I am. And it's only been probably in the last 2 months that I've really dialed down and learned what that is. And that was actually through my job. We had a women's group meeting, and they gave us this sheet of paper, and it was 7 reasons. I can't even remember what it was. I'll have to get the paper out. But we dialed down why we were working for the company and what our purpose was. When I got down to the bottom, my purpose was to be an illuminator. And that doesn't mean what job I'm doing. That's who I am. So it doesn't matter if I'm creating furniture or if I'm talking to a friend. That's who I am, and that's my purpose.
Right. So you could be driving down the street, and if someone cuts you off, and the choice that you make right at that moment, you can be an illuminator and say, bless that person, and I hope they stay safe the rest of the day.
Right.
Or you can choose to be not so nice in what you think and what you say to yourself. So
right, and then
I think
that's just going to bring darkness to me and the other person. So that's not who I am, and that's not what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people sometimes have this idea that their life purpose is tied to their job, and sometimes they make it quite complicated. And if you can simplify it like you did, which is awesome, that you're bringing light to anyone in any situation, so you can live that life purpose no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely. And if you know that that's your life purpose, your job doesn't have to be what gives you identity. It doesn't have to be what you identify with. It doesn't have to be what brings you joy. What brings you joy is you being who you're called to be or who you're created to be.
Right. And just a little back information, Marva and I have known each other, I lose track of how many years, but it's been... Sometimes I think when you is it 5 or 6 probably. Her and I met each other on an online course that we were taking in coaching at that time, and we've just kind of stayed in contact with each other. And I've nicknamed her. I've actually got her saved in my phone as Marva Joy.
Oh. That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah, because you bring joy to my life, and I know that you've got to bring joy to other people's lives. So tell us a little bit of. Pardon me?
I haven't always done that. You know, when you ruminate on what's causing you pain, if you're all caught up in yourself, you can't be who you were called to be. It just doesn't happen. You know, you're focused on your pain, and You're focused on what somebody thinks about you, or what somebody said about you, or what somebody did to you, or, oh, they looked at me the wrong way. What are they thinking? You know, all of those things that go around in our heads that keep us from being who we really are called to be. Those are the things that I had to really dial deep inside and say, hey, what's really important? Do I really want to become who God's created me to be? Can I? And that He created us, and it's our responsibility to become what He created and give everything. You know, that's my plan, and that's my purpose in whatever I do. I just so happen to have chosen to do it with the paint culture, and I couldn't be more happy to have met Jan. We were on, what was it, Tony Robinson life coaching group, and they would break us out of these phone sessions, and it wound up being me and Jan just hanging on and staying on, and that's how we got to know each other. We actually haven't met in person, and I can't wait for the day for that to happen, but we talk, oh my goodness, at least once a week on and off for all these years. So I feel like I feel like she knows me inside and out, and I feel like I know her, like what makes each other tick, and we're just that spark for each other, just like her channel is, what her purpose is. And I love what you called yourself, an actuator. That is totally you.
Awesome. Thank you. As you know from my post, I found that on thesaurus.com. So I was trying to, you know, I've been struggling with trying to figure out what to call the audience that is tuning in, and I ended up coming across that. I'm like, that's kind of what I do, so that's how I ended up with that. So anyway, today is about you, though. Tell everyone that's tuned in about the paint culture.
Okay. So this is a process. Originally, I was just in a very miserable spot in my life, something that I had chosen to be in but didn't have the nerve to get out of. But in my struggle to find joy in my everyday life, I came across something that really gave me joy, and that was painting furniture, as you see right behind me and up there. I'm actually sitting in my living room, which has no couch. All it has in here is furniture and paint supplies, which I love. But back to my story.
Totally diving in.
Yeah, totally diving in. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But I found what gave me joy. And so I just went towards that totally. But in my process, I was like, okay, maybe I can monetize this and make a living doing what I love and help others do what they love. And so that's basically, I named my first business Marvelous Designs, but I found out later that that's not really a good name because it was a play on names, hard to spell, all these things, so hard to find on social media. So I renamed it The Paint Culture. And when I renamed it, you know, a name is very important. And I'm gonna just give a little side note. I'm doing a little squirrel thing right here, but when I say a name is very important, my name is Marva, and I've had people call me Marvelous Marva all my life. And let me tell you, I have not liked my name, and I think I've told you this, Jan, I have not liked my name, and I've even thought about changing it because I even had this lady at work one time. She would see me, and she even had a song for me. She would go, Marvelous, 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 every time she saw me, and it drove me nuts. I was like, and I felt people were mocking me. So, yeah, so that's why I didn't like my name. Not only that, I had to spell it, and everybody was like, Martha, did you say Martha? Did you say, you know, no, Marva, you know, all those things. So I wanted to change it for most of my life, and I was driving to work the other day, and boy, you know how sometimes God speaks to us when we least expect it? I was driving to work, and I was just like really happy, just chilling, basically, just driving along. And I just felt like I heard him say to me, he said, because you could not believe who you were. I had to have people saying your name over you your whole life, prophesying your name over you, so you would become who I created you to be. I'm going to cry.
Ooh.
I'm going to cry.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Well, that's pretty powerful.
actually, he
Wow.
created me to be marvelous, and he created all of us to be marvelous. But for some reason, my dad's name is Marvin, and that's how I got the name Marva. And I thought, well, he had 4 sons. Couldn't he have named a Marvin Jr.? Come on now. So, but anyway, now I love my name, and I wouldn't change it for $1 million. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that is really powerful.
yeah.
And so just as each one of us, our name is important, the name that you picked, the paint culture, was important. Yeah. Share with everybody why that's important.
Why it's important? Well, just like I shared with you about my name, a name in and of itself is very important. What we say out of our mouth is very important. What we call people is very important. Jan has me named Marva Joy, and I feel like that's what I am, and I hope that's what I am to her. At least she put it in her phone that way. But I do feel like a name is very important. However, I could not come up with a name for my business, and my mentor suggested that I put it out to the people that follow me, so I did. And probably within 5 minutes, I had the name from actually it's from my boss that I work for, the company that I work for. And she saw it, and she said, well, what is it you want to do? And I told her within 3 minutes she had the paint culture. Now, there's one key thing. If you're in business and you're on social media, you have to make sure that that name is not taken all the way across the board. If you're going to do YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, Twitter, all those things, the name has to be not taken, right? So I had to go check. I said yes to the name. When I said yes to the name, the vision or the thing that was in my heart just came into full sight for me. And so I was holding my breath that it would not be taken. Paint culture was taken, but the paint culture was not. And now I have the domain name on that as well. So, yeah, so that's basically how that came about.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Well, and when I get on and I look for the spark, wow, there's all kinds of the sparks out there. So somehow I'm going to need to stand out as the spark. So anyway, how's your tea?
Tea is great.
Love it,
yeah.
love it, love it. So tell us a little bit about the 2 furniture pieces that you've got that you are in this video right now.
Sure. This piece that I have right behind me, I'm gonna zoom in and try to a little bit. I'm gonna lower this down. If you can see, the top part is purple. I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of looks pretty black, but it's purple. But down here is multicolored. I did this. This was one of my first pieces that I did a live on, and I did not like it after I got done, so I'm redoing it. And I'm working on my brand colors, and one of my brand colors will be this. It's an aubergine, which is a deep purple that I love. And then the piece directly behind is a china cabinet. This is a great way, if you're interested in furniture painting, is to find furniture on Facebook Marketplace. These people happen to be leaving town and they needed money really quickly. I got this china. I don't know if you can see it. I'm still working on it. That's all. It's a huge piece. I got that piece for $20. Now, however, I had to go get it right then. So, those are the things, but those are things you can find. I have another piece over here. It's a big armoire that I'm getting ready to work on, and that was given to me for free. So, there you go.
Wow. Nice. That's nice.
So,
Well, Marva has inspired me. It's not something that I do often. It's just every now and then. But I've got some pieces of furniture that I have confiscated from the dumpster nearby that are in pretty good shape. And so when I get time, or when I carve out the time, I'll be doing some of the cool techniques that she's got and making it all fancy to,
yeah.
I don't know, resell or keep or whatever I decide. You know, when you mentioned that you didn't like that piece when you first did it, and so you redid it.
Yeah.
Our lives can be like that too. You know, we're going along and we think it's all great and wonderful, but then when we take a look at it, I'm like, I don't really like that so much. And
Right.
we can redo it.
Absolutely. Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Right?
Yeah, I think we probably lose count. So for
Probably.
both of us, not just you.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing. We can just, you know, start over, hit the reset button. You know, on the computer we defrag it and clear it up, and we can do that with ourselves too. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you don't.
Yeah.
To move forward, you can't continue to look back. I mean, everybody knows that, right? But we tend to look back when we think we've made a bad decision or we failed. And I know Jan and I talked personally because I felt like I had made a huge bad decision to move where I am. I live in Springfield, Missouri, and I moved here for a relationship that did not work, was not good for me. So, yeah, I stayed in it way too long, 3.5 years, way too long. But at first I was feeling like, wow, you wasted your time. If I had not done that, I would not be doing what I'm really loving to do. I wouldn't have found that. So I look at things a little bit differently now. And I think I learned this from Mel Robbins. If you don't follow her, she's a great one to follow. But she said, don't look at things as failure. You look at them, there's 3 things that you do in any given situation. One of those is you have an experience, you make a connection, or you learn a lesson. And in my situation and my experience, I've done all 3. And then I just recently, Jan, I just put my resignation in at my current job. And it's a scary thing to do that.
Yeah.
I did that. However, I've often wondered, why was I there? Okay, I had so many wonderful experiences that I learned from. I connected with so many different people who are now my personal, really good friends. Not only that, my boss named my business for me. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
And I connected with her in a great way as a friend. She's a wonderful lady. And also I learned many different lessons there in my life. So none of it was wasted. None of it's a failure. Nothing that we go through in our lives is wasted or a failure. It's just you have to realize what it is. Did you have an experience? Did you make a connection? Or did you learn a lesson? And most of the time, and sometimes it's all 3. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Well, Marva, how do you define success?
How do I define success? Being everything that God created me to be. For me.
Wow.
Yeah. Becoming, you know, I love flowers, and you'll probably see a lot of floral work on my pieces, but I look at flowers as people because there's a lot of analogies, and I call Jan the queen of analogies, but I'm going to give you one here, Jan. You know, we all have thumbprints, right? And every thumbprint on a person is different. There's no 2 alike, right? And I look at flowers the same way. There's no 2 alike. When they bloom, they're, even if it's the same color, same style, you know, same type of flower, they're still different, right? So, you know, and they're kind of like people in like this. They're really beautiful, but they don't last a long time. And our lives here on this earth is very short. So I just want to be the most beautiful flower that God has created, because He created us all that way. I don't want to leave this earth going, wow, I could have been so much more. I could have done so much more. I could have loved so much more.
Right, right. You know, another analogy with flowers that I like to share is, you know, when they're closed, you can't see their beauty.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's huge.
yeah. And so many people will live their life completely closed. And in doing that, the beauty doesn't come out and get shared, you know,
Wow.
and it'll just wilt away like that, you know. And bees don't get to go in and pollinate, and you know, like life would cease to exist if every blossom kept itself closed.
Wow, that is huge, Jan. And I just, when you were saying that, I just see how your business is like that, because that spark you're talking about is that pollination. You know, it brings life and it creates more life, and that's what that spark does. And you know, she asked me to do this, and she's going to be doing this so much more. So if you would like to share your story, I'm sure Jan would love for you to come on her channel and do that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I actually have a note. I have some notes over there, and it says, make sure that you ask people if they want to come on. So thanks for reading my mind and my heart and doing that for me.
Well, that's part of who I'm called to be. I'm called to encourage people and to connect people. I'm also a connector. So, yeah.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah. Yep, lift others up, and that's, you know, when we're working together to do that. I mean, you think of somebody, I'm just picturing in my head, the person that stands on the stage and then they jump out into the crowd. You know,
Wow.
when there's a lot of people in the crowd lifting them up, they're just going to float right along. But if there's only a few people in the crowd trying to hold them up,
Wow.
that's going to be really hard. So, or you've seen the videos of the people that jump into the crowd and everybody kind of backs up. Yeah. I don't want to do that to anybody. So my goal and your plan, we're going to just lift everybody up and hold them up. So.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is that when the more people that are lifting somebody, the lighter they are, right? If you've got 4 people holding somebody up, they're a lot lighter than if there's 10 people holding them up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I just thought of that now.
It is cool.
Oh,
like I said, queen of analogy.
Oh, thank you. Oh, gosh. Well, what about failure? We've talked about success. What would you give a definition for?
I don't have one. There is no failure.
Okay.
It's like when you're a child, a good parent doesn't say, when a child learns to walk and they start stumbling, do you know a child falls almost 400 times a day while they're learning to walk? A good parent doesn't say, hey, get up. You look stupid laying down on the floor. Get up. Come on. Can't you do any better than that?
It just hurts just hearing you say that.
It hurts. Did you hear the way I said that? And I've heard people talk to their children like that, and if you listen to what goes on inside your head, are you talking to yourself like that?
Yeah.
Get off the couch, you lazy blah, 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 blah.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've had to walk through all of these things that I'm talking to you about. So, our Heavenly Father wants us to learn Him as Father God. Some people call Him that, Father God. But we've not had really good fathers here on this earth to demonstrate what He is, and really is. So that's when you have to spend time with Him and learn His real heart towards you, and learn how to talk to yourself like He talks to you, you know, like with kindness and love. And you get a lot more done like that. I found out. I do, you know.
Yeah.
I love this. Like, this is really helping me out. You've heard of mirror work, you know, looking in the mirror and talking to yourself and telling yourself this and that and other thing. Well, I never really got into that because I didn't believe it. You have to believe it. But this one thing I've done, and this I got from Mel Robbins too. Every morning she gets up, and you know, we've had the pandemic where a lot of people had to stay at home. You know, they're in their sweats all day. They never put makeup on. They never look their best. So she would go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, give herself a high five just for getting up. You know, that's pretty cool.
There you go.
If you can give yourself a high five and look like a hot mess, you're loving on yourself, right? So
nice.
I can do that.
Good.
I can love myself because I would love someone else in their imperfections. I really had to work on loving myself and my imperfections. And I had to stop waiting on, like, okay, am I going to do what I really want to do? Am I going to wait till I lose all that weight I want to lose? Am I going to wait till I have all the money that I want to do it? Am I going to wait till I have all the skill? Am I going to wait till I have all the knowledge? Am I going to wait till I have all the support? Am I going to wait till I have the perfect opportunity? No. As you see, my studio is here in my living room. We had to move a couch out and a rug out, but my son, he works on the road, so he's not here. He doesn't care. So here it is.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I just want to touch on loving yourself first, because if you don't love yourself first, you don't take care of yourself. You don't treat yourself well enough to lose the weight. You know, you don't treat yourself well enough to do the job that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that I want to talk to those people that do have businesses or want to have businesses, or even if you're just loving the job that you have and you're not taking care of yourself, you're really, really doing a disservice to the people that, the company that you work for. If you're in your own business, you are the business. If you don't take care of yourself, it will reflect in everything that you put out in your business. If you want to start a business, you cannot put everything into that business. You have to put into you first. The business is the result of the work that you put inside.
Right.
It's just the manifestation. Everything you see here is a manifestation of my desires, of my heart.
Nice. Yeah. You touched a little bit about, you know, the people that are going to jobs, and there are some that go to a job that they really hate. And they just dread it, and they go day after day, and they're making that choice because they have to pay their mortgage, or they, you know, whatever it is, they've made that choice to continue to go to work. And some would say, well, I don't have a choice, and we can get into that a different time, but they're choosing to go to work because it's a smart decision so they don't lose their house. But they get up in the morning and they hate it. And somehow, do you have advice for people to change so that when they go to that job that they hate, to somehow not dread it and instead look forward to it?
Most definitely, because I've lived that. You have to look at your current job as an investor in your life. They are paying you money to do that job, and it is your obligation to give them your best, whether you hate it or not. So you got to find out what your purpose is. When I found out I was to be an illuminator that gave joy, I was in marketing and I was out and about. I didn't love it, but when I would go to work every day and go to my deep purpose is to give joy. This just happens to be how I get to do it right now. Okay? So then your job becomes joyful. I would go home just loving my day. reflecting on my day. Hey, I did make a difference in somebody's life. I did give joy. And, you know, the more I gave, the more I got, you know. And I was more productive in my job. But I'm going to say this. If you know deep within yourself that that job is not what you're supposed to do, you read all the time about people just quitting their job and going full force with whatever. Well, if you have a family and you have children, that's probably not a wise decision. So what I would recommend to you is to get an exit strategy. Find out how much money that you need to make each month on your own business to keep yourself afloat, or how much money you need to have in the bank before you feel comfortable doing what you need to do. You need to have clarity in what you're going to do. If you don't have clarity, like the Bible says, you're unstable in all your ways. You're divided in your mind. You don't have a clear picture. And I would just say this, if you don't have a clear picture, make a step. When you're going down a dark path, every time you make a step, what's in front of you will come clearer and clearer. When I was in college, they would tell us to write, when we wrote a paper, to write with the reader in mind. Well, you may not know what the end result of your business is going to look like right now, but you have this thing in your, we used to call it back in the old days an unction. You have this thing within inside of you that you know, like, what that is, you know. So, but take a step. Take a step. Get some clarity on your next step or what you're seeing in front of you. Do that thing. Take another step. You know, that's the advice I have. You just got to get clear on what it is you want. When you're clear, like for myself, when I'm clear on what I need to do that day, bam, 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 done, right? When I'm not clear, I just run around little circles. And Jan and I have talked about this all the time. Her and I both, I believe that we're ADHD, and like I'm only focused with you because I'm in my purpose right now, Jan, because I'm so passionate about what we're talking about right now that I can like drill down like and stay so focused. If not, I would be focusing on that car that just went by, this bug that's flying right over here. You know, everything would be catching my attention, but it's not right now. But when I'm alone, that's what happens to me. I wish you could hear the thoughts in my brain. So to keep myself on track and focused, I have to write down. I spend time with myself in the morning and write down what could be, for me right now, monetizing my business is the most important thing. So what is my most productive thing I can do today? For that. What I'm doing right now is necessary to build my business, but it is not the most important or most productive thing I could do to monetize my business, because I'm talking for free. Well, let's just be honest, this is free. You know, we're encouraging, hopefully this will encourage someone else, but I'm doing it for free. So I have to, once I get off of here, what my goal is to get this piece finished, get her styled and staged and all the photos, all the measurements, and get her put up on Etsy for purchase. That's my goal. So I have to write, for me, I have to write down, get on Etsy shop, and then every little detail that it takes to get that to happen. I check it off, boom, 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 boom. And hopefully I will not stop until that's done. Today.
Today.
Yeah.
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 Yes, and you know, for a lot of people where their mind is all over the place, you're right. When they get into that thing that they really love, and then they look at the clock and they're like, what just happened to the time? They forgot to eat lunch. They haven't gone pee all day. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
So like you said, when you're doing that thing, that's the thing.
That is the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jan, because a lot of people don't know what their thing is. And I didn't know what my thing is until I was such in a desperately depressive state that I decided that I was not going down that hole, down that rabbit hole again, that I was going to find joy. So when you find that, whatever that is for you, that's what you need to be doing. That's your passion. Then you need to learn how to monetize that. But the first thing in finding your passion is a lot of people don't try new things because they are judging themselves. They've judged others, but they are judging themselves. So, yeah.
I'm seeing a little bit of fuzziness on your screen.
Yes, I am so sorry. Someone was calling me.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We just keep going, right?
Absolutely.
So, share a little bit about how your painting came about, and tell us how you discovered painting as your thing.
How I discovered it? Well, I've always, growing up, I didn't have much money, and I've always been a creative person. Like, I remember just always doing that, whatever it was with my hands. And so I had some pieces at the house that there's several ways that you can design a room. One is by style. The second is by color. So I had some pieces that didn't match in style, but I wanted to pull them together. And so I just started painting. Yeah. And then I just found some folks that are doing what we're doing right now, is helping encourage people. My mentor, Dionne Woods, and her slogan was, "If I can, you can." And so finally, after watching her at night, she would go on live almost every night. I'd sit on the couch, and my boyfriend would be watching TV, and I would be watching Dionne, and she would say, "Hey, you should try it. You can do it. If I can, you can." And she'd say, "If you're watching me, it's because you want to do this. Try it." So I did.
Nice.
So that's another thing. If you look at people and they're doing something and it causes envy within you, or you're like, "Well, I could do that. I could probably do it even better." Well, yeah, you probably should try that. That's probably something you could do. I think we are.
I don't know what happened. But maybe we're getting a sign that we need to wrap it up.
I actually don't see you anymore, so maybe it is wrapped up.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, well, okay.
Here,
now you can see me? All right. Well, I don't know I'm not sure what's going on, but
posted over there. And then soon down the road, you will be able to find me on a podcast. I'll be doing the Paint Culture podcast.
Nice. Awesome. Marva, thank you so much.
You can find me on Etsy. If you want to purchase from me, you can find my work on Etsy at the Paint Culture.